Welcome back to Make America Remote Again, guys. And today I'm doing a solo podcast. I have a ton of awesome guests coming in the next several weeks and months. I'm actually back in Medellin, Colombia. I've been away for almost 3 months, the longest I've been away for forever. And in this episode, I want to talk about the lessons from 2024 and what I look forward to 2025, because this year was the year of growth. This year was the year of challenges. This year was the year that I feel like I got punched in the face and kissed on the other cheek at the same time. It has been a crazy year, and I'm recording this with less than 75 days left of the year. And I remember just yesterday being in Cartagena celebrating New Year's with my best friends, and just how time flies is absolutely crazy. We started this year at a point with a company that we needed to grow because, look, when you have people at your business and they're there for a long time, they want to get paid more. When you are starting to grow, you need to hire higher level talent. And that requires you to level up. So one of the first things that we did in Q1 is not only did we hire a closer, but I actually personally mentored him every single day to be able to replace me, because I've had the same mindset from the start. A true master is able to teach a student to surpass them. If you're not teaching your students, if you're coaching or mentoring people, and they're not getting better than you, something is wrong. Either they're not putting the work in or you're not training someone correctly. So the first month of my closer closing, shout out to Johan, it was rough. You know, he was learning everything. We weren't very systemized, and it was a lot of old school training where I was doing call reviews and we would do live calls. But as we entered month 2, I was like, okay, there's some potential here. He started getting his first couple deals in, which was awesome. And really around month 3 and beyond, he fully replaced me. And I have never had that feeling in my entire life in the business. Since the start, which we started in November 2020 and really full-time August 2021, I was closing all the deals, all the partnerships, everything when it comes to bringing revenue to the business was 100% dependent on me. And while that's great because I like to be dependent on myself, it's not scalable. And for the first time, I saw the light. I was like, oh my gosh, we actually can scale this beyond anything we've ever done before. And with our closer, we were able to double the business this year alone. Actually, more than double the business, which is an awesome feat, because at the end of the day, if your business is not growing, it's slowly dying. And I know there's a lot of people that hit a mark in their business and they're happy and they're comfortable there, which is amazing. What I've learned, and shout out to one of my mentors and good friends, Eddie, and I learned this from him many years ago. He's like, you, as a business owner, you might be comfortable with the number that the business is doing. But guess what? The people in your company, they're hungry. They want to earn more. They want to level up. And if they don't, they're probably the wrong people for the company. So it is not possible for the business to be at the same point, revenue and profit-wise, while your team wants to earn more money, right? Slowly, your profits are going to deteriorate. And the people are either going to leave or they're going to hurt your company badly. And I woke up and it made me realize, holy crap, I need to really step up, because I was comfortable. I really was. 2023, I partied, really went all over the world is not really where I went, but I was all over Colombia, around many other places around the world, 12 different countries, and I partied. I had a great time. 2023 was the year of, man, I've worked my butt off for the last 5 years. I want to have 1 year where I just, I still work, but I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And that is exactly what happened last year. And this year, I was kind of burnt out from partying. I really didn't care for that too much. I actually went on a crazy bender in the beginning of the year, and I realized in the concert and the festival that I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is not fun to me, right? And I'm with my best friends, amazing music, with my ex-girlfriend at the time. Everything was amazing. And I just remembered, this does not fulfill me. And I think some people need to get to that point. Some people never get to that point. But for me, I know my values, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. And while I do enjoy partying, I do like, I'm actually going to a party tonight. It's not what my life is surrounded by. I don't care about looking for that all the time. And I think that's very important for people to find out, especially as a business owner, especially being a young business owner, making money and working remotely. You have a lot of freedom and you have a lot of things that you need to learn by cause and effect, right? The cause of going to party, what is the effect that comes from it, right? Maybe one time it's not bad. Okay, then you do it a couple times a week, then you do it 3 times a week. Are you drinking? Are you doing other substances? God knows. Let me tell you, for me, was not worth it. So that was a huge lesson for me. I loved having, going back to the business, I loved having the closer and being able to offload the work to him. The next thing that I did is I hired an operations specialist. And this person's upgrading to an operations manager hopefully next year. Shout out to Michelle. But for the first time, I had someone that was like a number two in my company, because while not only was I generating all the revenue, a lot of the systems, a lot of the ideas that the company had came from me. And I'm not a very systemized person because I'm more old school, right? Even though I'm a relatively young guy. But hiring an operations specialist, man, that changed a lot for me, because I can finally now focus on helping the closer, on creating content, on providing more revenue to the company, and thinking much bigger than focusing on the fulfillment side. Now, the fulfillment side is very, very, very important. That is the business, believe it or not. If you have a good product, it sells itself, which is how we were able to grow with so many people, because it was all word of mouth for a long time. Actually, for 3 years, we only got word of mouth clients. This is the first year that we started running ads, and it does help. And we do love to do it. We're actually going to launch our affiliate program here very soon, and we're going to expand to SEO and other platforms from, through marketing. But nothing beats word of mouth. There's really nothing that beats word of mouth. And at the end of the day, the CEO's job is to build a company that is able to grow and sustain itself without him having to do everything. That's a healthier company. You want to know the health of your company? Remove yourself from the company and see if they're closing deals, they are generating appointments, they're fulfilling whatever, whether it's marketing, whether it's wholesaling, whatever you're doing. And that really helps you know, okay, what is the health of my company? And right now, I know my health is like not the healthiest, meaning if I remove myself for like 3 months, we might not have a company. I think I can remove myself at most for a month, and that says a lot about my company. That means that my company has a month health. That's not very good, right? I want it to be way more than that. I want to be able to remove myself and, work on other projects or spend time with my family and see if my business grows. Now, that's the key point. I don't care about removing myself and the business just stays there. The real CEOs, right? If Tim Cook removes himself from Apple, Apple's fine. They're going to grow. They're going to make an extra trillion. Will they grow as much without him? I don't know, but they're going to grow. And the reality is most business owners, most businesses in the world cannot remove themselves from their business. They can't. And this is something I learned from the book, The 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki, where he talks about 4 quadrants. Every single human that we know, unless you're homeless, you're in 4 quadrants. You're in the employee quadrant, you're in the employer quadrant, you're in the business owner quadrant, or the investor. Let me explain. The employee, pretty simple. You're working for someone else. You're trading your time for money. Number 2 is the employer, meaning that you have employees, but you're still showing up to the business and you still are a very big part of it. It's almost like the manager of McDonald's. Like, they can't really not show up to McDonald's. They still need to be here. I'm at the business owner quadrant, where I can remove myself from a lot of the parts of the business, but I still need to be on the other parts of the business, specifically the front end, specifically with the content, right? But the goal is to be able to go into the investor, right? This is what the Alex Hormozis of the world are doing today. They are investors in other companies, right? Alex Hormozi has acquisition.com. He invests into other companies. He's in that quadrant. That is the ultimate goal for every business owner to get to. The question is, when will you get there, and if you will ever get there? So I thought that was pretty fascinating. So hire the operations manager, hire the closer, business has doubled, so that was good. But don't get me wrong, guys, we had ups and downs. We had actually only 1 month, thankfully, this month, but we were in the red, meaning that we had our expenses and payroll were over our revenue. That scared me. I was like, holy crap. Thankfully, we fixed it, where now we're at a profitable profit margin, which is very important, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is profit, right? I always talk about results being the thing that matters, but in the business world, the profit. Like, if you're not profitable, you really don't have a business, especially in the recruiting world. Now, in SaaS, it's a little bit different. You don't need to be profitable for literally ever, but you can still be worth millions and if not billions of dollars. So that was really interesting. We're going through a period where, our expenses now are anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 a month. And I remember waking up wanting to just make $20,000 a month and $30,000 a month, and now our expenses are almost double that, which is crazy. It's like literally crazy. Our highest expense month this year was I believe in August, and it was $67,000 in a month. Like, we had 1 month of $67,000 in expenses, which is more than most Americans make in a year. That's insane. I'm grateful for that. And it also is a scary place, where it makes me realize, man, we've got to grow more. I've got to hire more salespeople. I've got to go harder on content, more ads, more events, more speaking gigs, whatever the case may be. But guess what? I chose this life. Don't feel bad for me. Don't feel bad for any business owner ever, right? Unless something tragic happened in their life, you can feel bad for them. But anybody else, don't ever feel bad for a business owner because everyone has a chance to be an employee, right? I have a chance right now to go work as a high-ticket closer. I have a chance to be a high-level consultant. But I don't want to work for anybody besides my team. I want to just work for my team. And one of my favorite quotes that I learned this year, it's one of my favorite quotes this year, is a real business owner builds the people and the people build the business. That really triggered something in my mind. That made me realize, holy crap, like I can work on the business, but it's only gonna go so far because I'm only one man. But if I work on the people and I build the leaders and I build everything that they need and help them level up in their life, not just in their business life, but their personal life, with their health or whatever the case may be. It's not like I'm a health freak, but I can definitely help them with certain things that I've done in the past that I've seen and get coached on. They're gonna help me build everything that I need. And that is exactly the biggest transition I made this year, outside of removing myself from sales, having an operations specialist. It's also finally building a leadership team where we have a leadership call every week, and I have a leader in the recruiting department, in the sourcing department. I'm the leader of the sales department for now. I have a leader in the systems department. I have a leader in every single department, and my goal is to build them up, right? And one of the ways that I do that, outside of the leadership call, every week I have a one-on-one with every single one of my leaders. So we have 6 leaders. I have one-on-ones with every single one of them where I get their perspective on leadership. I don't ask them how their team specifically is doing, but I ask them how, like, for instance, how's their department doing? How's their week? What are they seeing from their team members specifically, the people they're dealing directly with? Because there's certain people that they have no idea, they're completely disconnected with them. But I want to know more about their leadership, right? And I ask them certain questions, and I help them. One of the biggest lessons that I've helped my team is with delivering feedback and how to set expectations. Because a lot of people, and I really believe that most of the problems, challenges, wars that happen is because most humans, 99%, are reactive, not proactive. Meaning that they react to an issue, they don't pre-act to the issue. And let me explain what I mean by that. If every single time you had a fight with your loved one, right? But before you have the fight with her or him, you set the expectation ahead of time that you're going to deliver some hardcore news and that she should be expecting something that could come off direct or even rude. Guess what? She's coming into this knowing that, okay, this guy's about to throw something at me, or this girl's about to throw something at me, right? Now you need to do the same thing with your business, right? When you're going to deliver some very direct feedback or feedback that could potentially hurt someone's feelings for whatever reason, you cannot just throw it up on them and just blah, right? You want to make sure you set the expectation. For instance, hey John, I want to have a conversation with you, and I've been meaning to have this conversation for you for maybe a couple weeks, and I didn't know how to do this, so it's going to come off a little bit harsh, and I promise you, I'm not trying to make it harsh, and it might seem very direct, and it might seem like it's coming out of nowhere, but I've truly, and not just me, but the other team members, we've been seeing this, and I just want to make sure you're okay with that. So before I go over it, are you okay with the feedback I'm about to tell you? Okay, now John is a little bit scared, his heart's pumping, but at least in his head he's like, okay, he's gonna deliver some stuff to me. He's like, yes, I'm ready. Okay, cool. Again, I don't want to hurt your feelings. This is something that the team has seen. This is something that I've seen, and just want to, one more time, you're gonna be okay with this, right? It's gonna come up very direct. So one thing that I like to do is I like to get confirmation twice, right? And I want to make sure that they know, especially in the business world, that it's never personal. It's never a personal thing that I'm trying to do with them. It is 100% for the business. Okay. And then I deliver their information. So that was something that I started doing this year, guys. Again, got the operations, got the sales, we got the leadership team, we doubled the business, which is actually more than double the business, which is great. Next year we want to focus on higher profits, better tier packages, better ways of serving our community and our clients, and just being able to grow from there. More on the personal side, I had my first really relationship ever. I was dating a girl for 6 months, and honestly, I learned so much. I'm really, really grateful for her. It didn't work out, but we didn't end on bad terms. There's no bad blood, and it made me realize, man, I really want to be in a relationship. I am not meant for the single life. I was single for basically my whole life, and I really feel like I finally see what people have said, where behind every great man, there's a greater woman. And I never really understood that, and I think because I always thought that it correlates with the business, and behind a great man, there's a greater woman that knows more about business. That's not at all what it is, right? As a businessman, most of the time, we think about business, we think about revenue, we think about profit, we think about team, we think about all the stuff that matters. But you are not your business. You're just a person that's doing business, right? You're human, and you have human needs, and you have human feelings. And if you are disattached from that, it makes you very robotic, and you're gonna have to find a very specific type of woman that's okay with that. And guess what? Not that those women don't exist, but I would say the majority of women are not like that. They're more emotional, they have feelings, they care, and they're a lot more vulnerable. And I was someone that always protected my vulnerability. I was someone that, because of how I am with my team has never seen me emotional. They've never seen me scream, raise my voice. They've never seen me cry. I held a lot of those feelings, a lot of that vulnerability with my ex-girlfriend. And I think when I finally told her, it might have been a little bit too late. And one of the things I can tell you guys that has really changed my business is being vulnerable with my team, is being vulnerable with people in my life. Because as men, we're not taught to be vulnerable. We're taught to be strong and fight through everything and figure it out. And I'll tell you guys right now, one of the things that I did, I actually started seeing this person before me and my girlfriend broke up, and it was a therapist. And I see a therapist every week, and I get to talk about my emotions. I don't really talk about business, and I talk about my feelings and things that I'm just not used to talking because I don't come from that world. And as men, that's it's things that we don't like to talk about, and I get it. And let me tell you something, it's hard. It took me more than a few sessions to really, really open up and talk about whether it's past childhood trauma or certain feelings or how I felt about the breakup or all this stuff. And it's still hard, and it's still not 100%, but that's really one of my biggest lessons for this year was just being more open, being more vulnerable, and being very, very careful of who I'm bringing into my circle. If you know me, if you heard about me, one of the things is I'm pretty nice to everybody, but one of the things I used to do is I used to bring everybody into my circle. And the thing is, your circle can only be so big. You want to have people in your circle that also have you in their circle, that also have your back, that have your best intentions, because I know I already have all that. I have people's best intentions. I always care about people. I'm a very unselfish person. Probably why I'm not rich, right? And as rich as I should be is because I'm pretty unselfish, right? If I was much more selfish, I'd be much more rich. Does that mean I would have more money? Does that mean I would be happier? I don't know. It means I have more money, but money doesn't buy happiness at the end of the day. And so that was one of my biggest lessons. One of the biggest things I'm excited for 2025 as we wrap up this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And like I said, we're going to have regular guests on. I'll probably do a solo podcast once a quarter, if that. But I really do enjoy interviewing people and getting to know about them and their story and all that stuff. One of the things I look forward in 2025, I look forward to launching our marketplace. We're about 85 to 90% done. We actually finally hired a back-end developer, front-end developer, and a tech lead, which I'm really excited about. So we literally have a tech team where we built the platform and the marketplace. We outsourced the entire build, but now we're actually bringing everything in-house. So that's pretty awesome. It's about 85 to 90% done. I don't want to launch anything to the market until it's ready and it's working, it's functional, and it's basically there. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to keep growing our current offer and bring in more team members so we can really scale. We're averaging anywhere from 40 to 45 hirings a month. I believe next year we're going to be able to double that and get to like 70 to 80 hirings per month with our current offer, not including the marketplace, and just get one step closer to hitting 10,000 hirings, right? This year we hit 1,000 hirings in our career, which is great. I really believe that next year with the platform, we can double that and get to 2,000 hirings, right? Our mission is to get to 10,000 hirings, and we're about a little over 10% of the way there. So that means that we're not really that close, but also we're getting there. And lastly, I'm excited to travel to Europe. It's been on my list. Hopefully go to Japan. It's going to boil down to either Japan or Europe, maybe both. And meet more people, maybe fall in love, and continue growing my team, continue growing my friendships, continue living here in Medellin, Colombia. I absolutely love it here. I honestly, every time I'm away for a long period of time, I go crazy. And hopefully if you're watching this and you wanted to meet up, come to Medellin, pull up. I'm not a celebrity yet, so I can shake your hand and sign your autograph. Just kidding. I'm never going to do that. But guys, I love this podcast, and I really believe that one day, in a future household, I'll have a studio and people will fly all over the world, right? The last thing I wanted to talk about before I leave off is there's elections coming up here in literally the next few weeks, and these are the most important elections we've ever had in the history of our company, history of the United States. I don't like to get political, but I'm going to get political because it is absolutely necessary. I actually watched in Elon Musk. I believe he did like a Q&A yesterday in Pennsylvania, and he was asking all about it. And man, when Elon Musk, anyone in the business world, I believe most business people look up to him. And when someone's so smart, so successful, that's able to run the most incredible companies in the world, is talking about who to vote for and why, right? And I think that's it, right? Don't listen to me. I'm just a small town Jew. Listen to Elon Musk. Listen to a multi-billionaire. Listen to the people that are swaying to that world way, right? I was very in the middle. I love RFK, but RFK is now Team Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, Team Trump. Elon Musk, Team Trump. So I'm like, okay, all the people that I support, all the people that I like listening to, all the people that I believe in, they're Team Trump. I was already Team Trump. That made me much more of Team Trump, right? So whether you like Trump, whether you don't like Trump, I hope you go out there and vote and use your rights to vote. And hopefully this election goes the right way. And by right way, I mean the right side, meaning the Republican side. And the country goes back to what it was in pre-COVID. And, hopefully gives people more opportunities to grow, build, and become the best versions of themselves, because I really hate seeing the best country in the world not be mentioned as the best country in the world. I really hate where the country is headed and all the wokeism and liberalism that's taken over. It's pretty disgusting, but I don't live there, and one of the reasons I don't is because of that, but obviously many other reasons. So elections coming up. When you're watching this video, November 5th, make it happen, go vote. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this, the takeaways from 2024, things I look forward in 2025, and we get to connect, maybe work together, maybe do a podcast. And remember, guys, make America remote again. See you in the next video.